Gamecast from MSN.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the MSN Tech and Gadgets gaming podcast. I'm Jane Douglas, one of your Tech and Gadgets editors, and welcome to episode 12. I'm joined by Nick Taylor, my fellow editor.
Hello.
And Iain Lee, as always.
Yeah. You've taken your bangles off, I've noticed.
They're a bit jangly. I don't
jangly bangles.
Come over the podcast.
Do we need to give out any details of where they can find us and stuff if they don't know about where they can find us?
At this point, still not confident where to find the podcast. They're at tech.uk.msn.com or iTunes, and do a search for Gamecast or MSN Games Podcast, that kind of thing.
Let's start as we always do, what we've been playing this month. I'm going to go in first. Do you know what? I've not been playing a lot. Turns out I've got a life. I've been busy. I've been doing work and I've been away. I know Boo and his. So the things I have been playing, I've not gone back to Resi Evil 5 yet, despite your generous invitation, Nick. Thank you. I've been playing Halo Wars still, because if I got, an hour to kill, I know I can fit a game of that. Although, no, hang on, I tell a lie. I played a game of Halo Wars. It was 2 versus 2. The first time I played it, the game lasted 2.5 hours. And it was just... I know, it was. Even me and this American lad I was playing with, we were both going, this is now become quite dull. It ended up... we started at the top of the map, the other two teams started at the bottom. And what we did after an hour and 3/4, we swapped round. We'd taken their bases and they'd taken ours. But we won in the end. So I've been playing that. And on my iPhone, I have downloaded Return to Castle Wolfenstein 3D. And they've kept all the original graphics in it, none of your censored nonsense. So you are going around shooting Nazi Alsatians. And it's brilliant on the iPhone. It makes me a little bit motion sick, as some of these games do, but I've been getting well into that. So that's been the majority of my gaming play.
How does that work, though? Have you got buttons on the screen that you press? Or?
You sort of have to slide to fire, you tap the gun. And to move, there's sort of like there's sort of buttons, and you sort of slide it. You slide around and stuff. It takes a little bit of getting used to, as these things do. Oh, but it works, yeah. And tower blocks I've been playing. I've been playing a lot on my iPhone, on trains and things. And tower blocks, the old classic where you have to drop tower blocks on top of each other and build a tower block that doesn't fall over. It's genius in its simplicity. Oh. Nick, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to?
Well, I munch on a Jaffa cake, thank you.
Yeah, help yourself. GTA, Chinatown Wars, on the DS.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, yeah.
I'll turn it on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you reviewed it for us. You gave it a 5, right?
Yeah, 5 out of 5. Yeah, GTA. Chinatown was very good indeed. It's just, what I liked about it was it takes GTA back to what was good about GTA.
Yeah.
And it's just that, like, none of the other stuff.
So running around, shooting, stealing cars and doing little missions, but none of the what we found, I guess, tedious with GTA 4 was the kind of laborious storylines and having to be friends with people and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But it brings in some of the sort of extra stuff as well that was in, say, GTA 3. I think it's the one that I've enjoyed most since then. Yeah. So, like, in this case, you're a dealer. You're going around dealing drugs, but it basically makes it like a little trading.
You sound really embarrassed to say it. You've got middle class roots are coming in. It's a little bit I'm a dealer and.
But it makes it gives it a bit of added depth as well. But a really, really good conversion for the DS.
Have the Daily Mail not jumped on this yet? Because it is brilliant that what you're saying. You play a drug dealer and you go around doing stuff like this, and it's amazing that in 2009, we are 2009, aren't we?
Yes, indeed.
9, that you can say that, and that's a game, and that's fantastic that it is. But have the Daily Mail not had any uproar about this, or have they got over?
I'm
GTA
not a regular
now?
reader, so I haven't noticed anything. But I mean, it's an 18. It's clearly labelled an 18, but then most of these things are. So
no one really goes by those ratings, those age certificates on games, do they? Is that legally enforceable in shops?
You're not allowed to sell it, but then the kid can just go get their parents.
Are you not allowed to sell it, or is it? I thought it was recommended in video games.
No. I think you're legally obliged to not sell it to anyone who can't provide ID, but I've been in shops and the kid just goes over to the parent and the parent takes the kid to the... of course, so it's circumventable easily.
They do the same thing with strong cider as well in off-licences. They just give it to the parents, I think.
Fireworks.
Yeah, exactly. Very naughty. Okay, right, I didn't realise it was a legal thing. Okay, so you've been having a bit of that. It's Jane.
What was I playing? Oh, last night, Wheelman. I said I was going to go home and try Wheelman. It's a Vin Diesel starring game that's not based on a film starring Vin Diesel. It's just a game that has Vin Diesel in it.
That's weird, isn't it?
It is a bit weird.
It's from his own production company, isn't it?
Yes, he is involved. He's into games, yeah.
Is he responsible for Riddick? Is that
he's in Riddick?
He's in Riddick.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I don't know what his.
I'm not too familiar with the Vin Diesel
is.
oeuvre, but
The Riddick games are good. Wheelman is. I feel I wanted it to be good. You know, it's a Midway game.
Yeah.
And Midway are obviously, in a bit of trouble, but it's kind of fun. It's a bit like GTA. Well, superficially, it's like GTA, but set in Barcelona. So you've got kind of a virtual Barcelona. It's kind of pretty, but it's very gamey. You know, the driving is very like kind of Burnout. You're crashing into stuff, and you're virtually indestructible. And it handles okay, but some of the models, like the faces, look a bit odd, and it's just not quite as polished as I'd hoped. But it is like being in a big, dumb action film, so that's going to appeal to someone, I'm sure.
What is it? It's sounding fantastic to me already. But Midway are in trouble. I mentioned this last month. They've got to sell 75% of their assets or something to make...
Yeah, they declared bankruptcy and...
Well, have they sold Mortal Kombat yet? That was on the cards, that they were going to sell Mortal Kombat to try and get money and stuff.
It seems strange, because what else do they have other than Mortal Kombat?
Not a lot these days, I don't think. Anyway, worrying times. Okay, cool.
The funnest game that I've been playing.
Nick's back in. Sorry, I thought we finished it, but no,
I need
he
to
wants
talk
to
about
speak.
this one because
he needs to talk about
awesome.
this one.
I downloaded off Xbox Live called Peggle. You heard of Peggle?
Oh my god, that was going to be my second game as well. I've been playing so much Peggle.
Where have I been the last 4 weeks? There's a game called Peggle out, and you both love it.
There is, and it's on the iPhone as well, apparently. So
What is
it was
Peggle?
a web-based like Flash game.
Yeah.
PopCap games, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Anyway, it's one of theirs, and I don't know. It hasn't been on Xbox Live that long.
Talk me through Waggle.
Peggle.
It's like that Japanese game with the balls. It Pachinko.
Oh yeah, Pachinko is the noisiest and weirdest game ever.
Loosely based on that.
Yeah.
Like in that you've got a shooter at the top that shoots a ball down into a load of coloured pegs. The object of the game is to hit the orange pegs.
Yeah.
And within a certain number of balls, you get 10 balls. I think they need to do it. And then as you go through, like sort of additional upgrades are given depending on which level you're playing.
Yeah,
but it's just the most gloriously over the top, silly game that I've played for so long.
And when you clear the pegs, there's music and stars and rainbows and
I like all of those
choirs.
things.
Yeah,
this sounds brilliant. Beethoven
playing, it's fantastic.
Oh, I'll have a little bit of Peggle then, definitely. I've not looked at the Xbox Live download for ages. I need to have a check, see what new stuff is out there. It's always good. Well, it's not always. There's some tosh on there as well, I have to be honest. But there's generally a lot of good stuff. I suppose we should have a recap of the BAFTAs, because we mentioned it a couple of months ago. They hadn't happened when we recorded the last of these shows. So, Jane, you've got the...
Yeah.
I've not looked at these, so this is
all
quite...
Right, I'll go for it.
I know a couple that have come out, the obvious ones.
Yeah, well, best game you'll have heard is Super Mario Galaxy.
Which is
the biggest prize.
A little bit surprising, isn't it?
I think so.
Good, I mean, a good game.
Yeah.
But the best game? Really?
Considering what it was up against, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to what we were going on about with the timing of it, really, doesn't it? Because, what is it, about 2 years old now, almost?
Is it 2 years? It's old, isn't it? They've stretched the BAFTA year, haven't they, for this?
Because of the
18 months or 20 months or something.
Yeah.
So then you're putting it up against games that are 2 years more developed, like technologically.
And it still wiped the floor with them. It still wiped the floor with them. Okay, what's next?
Action and Adventure was Fable 2.
Oh, jeez.
So
what's the point? Come on.
Let's have a look. What else we got? Handheld Professor Layton in the Curious Village. I thought that was nice, actually. No?
I didn't agree with that, because they had God of War in there.
They did have God of War, Chains of Olympus.
It's God of War all the way.
Yeah.
That's an amazing game for a handheld, that they could do all that. But
Multiplayer got Left 4 Dead, and that I was happy with that. That
fantastic.
was great.
We're allowed to talk about it then, because it's been banned because we mentioned it too much. Left 4 Dead is... I'm having a little session this week, actually, of Left 4 Dead with some new friends of mine, so... Good for them. Well done, chaps.
Original score and best use of sound both went to Dead Space, which does have some pretty good sound in it, and they had the composer there to pick that prize up. Technical achievement was Spore, which I suppose is fair enough. You know.
Yeah, I never started it. I got sent it, and I think I might put it on eBay in the end. I don't know.
It's probably just because they wanted to give it something.
Was it Call of Duty 4 was up for everything?
It won a couple. It won...
this was another controversial one because it's about 18 years old.
I think it won gameplay, which is... I mean, it didn't win multiplayer, which seems the obvious choice.
Didn't it win best story?
That's it, best story as well, which is not the obvious award for Modern Warfare.
No, because
I can't remember the story, most of it.
No.
So.
Now, and this is, I'm getting so confused with the Call of Duties now. I've sort of lost count. So Call of Duty 4 is Modern Warfare.
Yes.
And they're bringing out a Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 2.
It's just going to be Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, okay.
To keep things simple, but you're right.
But they're bringing that out in November of this year.
Late this year, yeah. I think so.
But just everyone slow down for a minute. I've still not finished Call of Duty 3 yet. I need to go back. I did 4. I did Modern Warfare, and I did it, and I loved it. I thought it was a great game. I cannot be bothered with Call of Duty 5. The whole thing seems pointless to me now. Really,
it's fun. It's good. COD 5, but Modern Warfare 2 stands out. Warfare 1.
See, now you're confused, and you're an expert.
It's gone already.
This is the thing. You work in computer games. You know, this is. It does seem that they've found a wonderful cash cow. And I'm sure the game will be great, but.
Well, they can turn it over that fast because they alternate developers, right?
Yeah.
If I go on and play Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 1, online, by the end of the year, that's now going to be out of date because everyone will get the new one, so there won't be anyone playing the first one. It's just,
We were talking about this actually because you obviously you level, and you invest time and you get better and
yes.
in Modern Warfare 1. I'm wondering how many people are going to be reluctant to switch over to Modern Warfare 2 if you can't bring any of that across because you've got to start from.
They will all do it because the same thing happened with Rainbow Six, Las Vegas. I remember being very, very excited. And I got did quite well at the first one. And then the second one came out, and everyone jumped over that, and you start again. And the thing is, the second one isn't such a good game, I don't think. They've made so many changes and tweaks to it that sound quite appealing, like you can jump in a game halfway through, and there's the graphics and stuff like that. But actually, I don't think it's as good as the first one. You go back to the first one now, there's 3 sad kids playing it, and that's it. It's pointless. There's no Kino room, there's none of these things going on that I want.
No.
You shouldn't be able to jump into a game halfway through. You start at the start of the game and you stick with the game. You don't jump in halfway through, that's cheating.
You have some very hard and fast rules on gaming.
I've got hard and fast rules about playing online. Yes, very much. I will write them down one day and
no
publish
rushing in Halo Wars either.
Oh, I hate. This happened the other day. I was playing Halo Wars, and there's me setting up my base. And what I have to do now in Halo Wars is because you're playing with these kids that don't know how to play it, so they rush. Is as well as setting up the bases and building all the factories and stuff like that. You've got to spend money building up the defences immediately because otherwise you get rushed. They send that guy from the Covenant that comes over and has got a sword and can jump around, and you can't shoot him. What's the point of playing? So I've now taken just to going. Oh, you're a rusher, are you? Very boring. Very. So sorry, a little bit of a rant there. I don't quite know where that came from.
Get it all out.
Yes, I'm very angry. Any other awards of note in the BAFTAs? Or have we done that? We've done the big ones, haven't we?
There were loads, but casual game went to Boom Blocks, which is really good, actually. It's a Wii game. It's a bit like Jenga, but, virtual Jenga. And it's a good party game, so fair enough.
A couple of things I wanted to mention. The DS... Is this... Have I got the name right? The DSiWare shop. This is the shop for the DS...
The online,
that you can go on and buy stuff.
Sure.
Now, it's up and running, apparently.
Yes.
Have any of us looked at it yet? Do we know what's... Apparently they've not got much on there.
There's not in the UK. I mean, we've got a DSi in, and I've looked around on the internet a bit, but...
it doesn't seem to be much happening.
No, there's a WarioWare game, and Paper Plane, which I haven't played. But if you look at what's available in Japan, obviously they've had it for a lot longer. There's a lot more games, so it's something you'll have to wait for them to release stuff for, I think.
It's Japanese and stuff and all of that, but come on, Nintendo, give us what they've got and give us the obscure Japanese games. Oh, they won't sell over here. It's not for an English market. Well, let us try it. I know a lot of them they can't do because it would cost a lot of money to translate them, and there isn't. It's going to sell 100 copies or whatever, but. Come on, pull your fingers out. Give it to some kids to translate and do it as a little project or something. Stop being so protective of your software. I'm very angry today.
Yeah.
I don't know where this has come from. It's a beautiful sunny day, and the fury of me is quite strong. To apologise. So there's not much going on in the UK at the moment. Maybe we'll have a look at that next month and see what else
see what trickles out.
is happening.
Yeah, so the big Sony announcement was not a PS3 price drop, but a PS2 price drop. In the US.
Oh, yeah.
$99.99. Yeah, which is dead cheap.
And in the UK,
it's
£99, I think, or something.
I haven't looked recently.
It's something like that. I'm surprised the PS2 is still selling.
It is, like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, people love that thing.
But Sony must be disappointed by that, surely, that they've not managed to stop people buying it and move on to the PS3, I would have thought.
I don't know if they're upset that people are still buying it and buying games for it, but I don't know.
Have you just bought... I'm guessing that a lot of the people who go on the forums are, obviously slightly more hardcore gamers and perhaps sniff at this as well. But I'm very surprised that the PS2 is doing so well. And I know it's still got games coming out for it, but you just think, well, I tell you what, let's not buy this PS2 today. Let's save up for another month or so, and then we'll go the full hog and get the PS3.
Because the price is comparable to the price of a Wii, you're not really looking at the kind of person who's going to go and buy a PS3. Maybe it's the kind of family who's like, should we get a Wii, should we get PS2? Graphically not dissimilar, and relatively cheap, and the games are relatively cheap, so that's kind of appealing. And maybe the kind of person who wants a PS3 is not going to go for a PS2.
It's quite likely sort of, I don't know, someone that wants to go and play SingStar, for instance, which is quite capable of playing on a PS2, isn't it? And therefore, well, what do you need to go out and throw £400 down on a PS3 for that?
The more casual gamer is what it's addressing, but I'm surprised. Hey, listen, if you're listening and your partner or your mum or someone has just, for Christmas or a birthday has given you a PS2, completely misunderstanding what you wanted, do let us know, because I am surprised by it, but I can see partly why that would happen.
And the other thing, literally before we sat down, was PSP2 rumours.
Yes, no, you tell me about this.
They're saying look out for, in the summer at E3 for a PSP2 announcement, and the rumour is that it's going to be this big slidey touchscreen job, so that the screen slides up.
And that's the technical term, the big slidey touchscreen job.
Is how I understand it, with 2 thumbsticks, which is good.
Oh, sexy,
2 thumbsticks is great, but that's a lot of inputs. Touchscreen and 2 thumbsticks.
You've seen a picture of this on the internet, have you?
They're just concepts.
Okay.
I think people are mixing that. They're just concepts.
Okay.
I'm not even sure they're not even official.
Do you remember exactly. So I remember a few months ago there was the Xbox Portable, which was
just
on
mock-ups.
So we'll see. I'm always slightly dubious of these.
Yeah, me
things.
too. And Sony's like saying nothing.
And the announcements are never, like with the price drop, they're never as exciting as the internet is leading you to believe it is. It'll be an add-on.
I think they will be this year.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a feeling. There's kind of rumbles of some very big announcements.
Wow. Do you know inside gossip, Nick? Is that what
loads.
Oh, man, well, tell us after this.
Pulse,
Good work. Now, we had a lot of response on the forums this month, didn't we, to the questions
thanks,
that we
everyone.
asked. A lot of response, including one response that wasn't deleted, it was hidden. And it said, this response may contain strong language.
Yes.
Click here if you want to read it. So, of course, that's the one I went to. And I don't think there were any swears in it.
I think it was asterisked out, which seems like a double precautionary measure.
Themselves. They were very careful about what they were saying and what was going on. And so what were the questions we asked them last month? Any scary games?
Yeah, the first one was, what's the most punishing game you've ever played?
Oh, yes.
And Brookerboy said, for hardest games ever, I think Battletoads for the NES was really difficult. It just wouldn't end.
We had a lot of people mentioning Battletoads.
Yeah, popular one.
It rings a bell.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it, but Nick was saying it was brought out to compete with the Turtles.
So it's early
90s.
Yes.
So Battletoads, obviously, like Ninja Turtles. And apparently it's notoriously difficult. I never played it.
You could do that in the old days. You used to be able to rip games off.
Yes.
I think that they're a lot stricter now. I remember in the 80s there were a lot of Pac-Man clones that were exactly the same as Pac-Man, but they were called... the one on BBC, I think it was Snapper, and the Dragon had one called Scarf Man. And it was just Pac-Man. It had the same music, the same ghosts, the same monsters, the same sound effects, but... You could do that. Not so... Can't do that so much
maybe not
these
so
days.
cloney, but on the iPhone there are a lot of iPhone... games that are very similar to console. There's a kind of one that's kind of similar to God of War and kind of similar to GTA. And
that's that one where you can pick people up and shake them, isn't it? The God of War.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
No, I was reading a review of it. Yes,
I don't know. Maybe you can't call it a clone.
Inspired by. It's completely individual and stuff, but it's a similar theme. I think we can safely say.
Yeah.
But yes, no. In the old days, they were complete rip-offs.
Yeah. Do you remember Great Guyana Sisters?
No?
They were the Mario Brothers, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's just been released, I think, now, officially.
Oh, really?
I'm sure I was reading somewhere that it's been released, and it was on, like, the Spectrum, and maybe on the NES as well, or something.
It was Mario in a dress.
Yeah.
Basically, and just exactly the same kind of platform. They
did get sued. They got in very serious trouble for it.
Didn't they?
Got withdrawn, but I think it's just been officially released. Maybe even on a Nintendo machine. I'm sure I read that they'd finally gone, let's put this little historic relic out for the public.
Live and let live.
Yeah, why not? Huh? Anyway, Battletoads, yes.
Battletoads. FF8 Fanatic also said, in terms of hardest game ever played, it is without a shadow of a doubt Battletoads. So I think we need to get hold of a copy of this. Nico the Quailman says, Combat School on the Spectrum was the hardest game I ever played.
I played that. That was great. That was really cool.
Can I just say, dear listener, that Nick's face is lit up with a beam as though a Christmas morning, and he's just seen a new bike. Yeah, it was good. I
was chuffed that Nico brought that up, actually, because I'd completely forgotten about it until then, and it just brought it back to me. There was some random bit at the beginning you had to do training before you were even allowed to play the game.
Oh, yeah.
You had to get your character hard enough to go out.
So it was one of those, was it a button basher? Daley Thompson?
Yeah, I think it was, actually. Yeah, it had like sort of doing your push-ups like that with hammering the button.
There was a game called Brian Jack's Superstars, based on the TV show Brian Jack Superstars. You had to do squat thrusts, which no one does squat thrusts anymore. You're on the floor and you had to kick your legs out. I'm trying to mime it at a desk, I don't know why. And that was just because you had to press one button to put your legs out, then another button to get them in, and it was just... They were tricky things, weren't they?
Yeah.
It's like two old men chatting down the pub, and there's a young lady who's going, come on, I've got work to do here. Sorry, Jane.
Moving on.
Yes.
Basra, one of the hardest games I remember was Robocop, mainly played in the arcades. It was one of those games that took plenty of practice, and game continues to master.
Yeah.
I also remember Ninja Gaiden being seriously hard on NES.
Okay.
Ninja Gaiden's always hard, I think. Even the later games, Ninja Gaiden 2 just recently was pretty tricky.
Speaking of ninjas, to go off on a tangent, I got given some new ninja game.
Ninja Blade, no?
Is it set in 2026 or something?
Could
like
be
futuristic Tokyo?
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, so I can't tell you.
Okay, so I'm actually going to
Try
have to
it
play
out.
a game
Tell us.
myself
Yeah.
and find out whether it's any good.
Still in the wrapper at the minute.
Okay.
Captain Chod, hardest game ever, Maniac Mansion, which was a point-and-click adventure.
Yeah, which they're kind of making a comeback on the DS and stuff, those kind of point-and-click
a little bit, actually.
things. I never dug those. I just found them a little bit dull.
What,
really.
point-and-click adventures?
Yeah.
I liked them.
You're into them?
I liked Broken Sword.
Right.
That was really good, if that's in the same kind of
genre. I just find
Grim Fandango? That was...
The what, sorry?
Grim Fandango.
I don't know the Grim Fandango.
Oh my gosh, it's great. It's great. It's
Really?
a LucasArts game. Really, really good.
Okay.
I mean, it's a bit later than this kind of thing, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
Also, another mention from Captain Chod, I had Battletoads on the Mega Drive and found it okay. So, obviously, a better gamer than everyone else. Unnamed 7 says, I remember Battletoads on the NES. So...
We need to do a Battletoads special. This is... I
Bring
mean,
it back.
I'm vaguely aware of it, but it's...
next-gen version.
Right, I'm hunting that down online.
Must be able to get it online somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
Dark Messiah says the hardest, most punishing, unforgiving game for me has to be Super Probotector Alien Rebels, which I had never heard of and looked up. I felt really bad. I never heard of this one. I think it had a different name in other countries, so it's a bit tricky to
one
track
of those. Can I just say, while we're going through the forums, David Lowe, Big Gamer Has No Friends... no, you cannot have my PS3, basically. He's saying, because I mentioned that I've got one and I don't use it very often, he's supposed to do not put your PS3 in a way, lend it to me, because I have PS2, and that means when the new Kingdom Hearts comes out, I can play it. And I cannot play the one that comes on DS because I've got a GBA SP. If you think it's good, I dare to send 27... Always put his address there, silly sausage. Let's get rid of that. But David Lowe, Big Gamer Has No Friends, I'm officially saying, no, you cannot have my PS3. But thank you for offering to take it off my hands. It's very generous of you.
Deremy Dude says, I guess you could say The Sims is hard to complete simply because it doesn't end. Fair point.
They keep churning out Sims games as well.
Well, Sims add-ons. There's Sims 3 coming out in June.
There's some things that I just don't get. And that's one of them. I had a go at an early Sims game, and it was like... Yeah, okay, well, so where's the fun part of this? You know, Nick, you don't strike me as though you'd be a Sims man. You want action, don't you?
I like God games sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I loved going all the way back to Populous and coming up from there. And I think that's where Sims has come from in a way. It's a bit of an offshoot of that, isn't it? But
well, if we want to go back in history, Sims is. Wasn't there a game on the Commodore called The Tiny Little People Inside My Computer or something?
Was there?
There was something like that. Don't laugh. Come on, we were simple back in the 80s, Jane. We were impressed by things like that. It was something like that, and you loaded it up, and you had like a house, and there was a little man that lived there, and you sort of controlled him and had to do nice things for him, and it supposedly operated on real time, and you could leave it and stuff. But I think that could be the origin.
That sounds like a daddy of them all.
Yes.
Oh, I want to mention Metal Gear Solid. That's his name. The hardest game I've ever really played was probably Left 4 Dead Expert, without real people to play with.
Yeah, without
that's not possible.
Without real people, it's just a nonsense because the AI is pretty lame on that.
Well, it's good on the lower levels.
Yeah,
but once you
start
getting,
getting, they can't do it.
Yes, absolutely. Captain Munch says the hardest game ever could be the first Half-Life, which was the first time I ever got outsmarted by a PC's AI. I've heard similar things actually, because the AI was, for the time really good.
It was really good. Yes,
so,
I had an early PC, and Half-Life was, I think that was the first game as well I played online, and it was just insane multiplayer playing that.
What, Counter-Strike? Or
no, Half-Life.
Half-Life,
okay. I never got into Counter-Strike, but Half-Life was great. Except it was all obviously 56k dial-up, so you'd be running around. You couldn't play it because you'd be running around and you'd see someone, and then they'd freeze in midair, and then they'd disappear, and then you'd freeze in midair, and you just, it couldn't work at all. But still, even then, it was. It was delicious being able to play against other people.
He also brings up a good point. He says, let's be fair though, in terms of hard games, has anyone completed Pac-Man, etc.? All the old arcade games are much harder than modern games. Take how easy the Halo games are nowadays if played in anything less than Legendary. So I was thinking, maybe games are just easier by the terms of can you complete them or not?
Well, Pac-Man, there isn't a completion. Or does it? I think Pac-Man is one of those games that the score clocks round again and starts. Yeah. I know Donkey Kong you can finish. It gets to a certain... I think Donkey Kong, it gets to a certain score and then it freezes, and that's how it ends or something. There's a bug in it or something like that. But
it just kills over. Yeah, they don't have end screens, do they? Pac-Man or Space Invaders, those sort of things. They just get faster and faster until it's impossible.
Until it's impossible to do it, yeah.
And I guess if they've got Arcade Origins, then there's an incentive to make them not really give them an ending, because you just put more money in. Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
There's one on here, Weekly Famitsu, who said the Super Ghouls and Ghosts was a hard game.
That's ridiculous.
That was hard.
That's ridiculous, that game. I could never, very rarely, I've got one of them on DS, an old GBA version. It's either Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls, whatever. I always get confused which it is. But I can barely get onto the second level, and then it's just dead. These people that could do that are just...
And it had the hardest checkpoints as well. You got like one checkpoint in the entire level, didn't it?
Yeah.
So you could get right near the end or die in the boss fight, and then you've got to go through the whole level again just to get to it.
Yeah.
It used to drive me mental.
Someone called Your Rubbish had a go at me. I'm sorry, but from the sound of it, you guys know hardly anything about video games. How can you make a video game podcast when you think Luigi is Mario's cousin? That was me. Wasn't either of these two professionals.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. It wasn't either of these two professionals sat beside me. It was me. I hang my head in shame, and every night I go home and whip myself for the guilt that I have brought upon myself. So, apologies there.
Oh, the other thing was... last time you were saying that there's no horror game that's really ever scared you.
There is no scary game. I don't think there are any games that have ever actually scared me in the way that a film has made me... I still can't watch Wolf Creek because it's just so grim. Have you seen Wolf Creek?
No,
it's grim. And me and my girlfriend, we love watching horror films and scary films. We love it. Her more than me in a kind of perverse way. But we watched Wolf Creek and we got into it when it starts kicking off, is all I'll say. And we both went... This is not good. Can we turn this off now? We turned it off. And I've never had a game that's made me uncomfortable or squeamish or scared or anything.
I think quite often the best you can hope for a game is that kind of moment of panic, which is not exactly the same as terror. Yeah. It's just when something jumps out at you and it's kind of scary, and The Witches in Left 4 Dead, since we're talking
No, not scary.
Well, no, but panic, surely. Panic. When they surprise you, oh my God.
No, they don't, because you get a good warning with that. You get that...
Oh, the music, yeah, that is true.
You get all that. You get an American going... I'm going to take the witch out in one bullet. You get all of that nonsense.
You're not.
No, you're not. Apparently there's a way you can, according to a lot of Americans I've played with.
There is, yeah. I've never seen for, isn't there?
Yeah, I've never seen it happen, though. No.
All right,
let's just say that Inky in Pac-Man is scary. He's a scary ghost chasing you.
Yeah. Well, FF8 Fanatic agrees. He says, I've never found a game that's truly scared me. Yeah. Although I've never had a film that scared me either.
Oh, really?
He's just hardcore.
Oh, that's kind of quite sad, I think. That's one of the joys of being a human being, is being scared by movies. Nick, you look confused. What's wrong?
Oh, I was just trying to think of a game that scared me, but I don't know.
You're a tough fella.
I think the most that you can hope for is a creepy atmosphere, really. Like Silent Hill gets that a bit.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Minter2K9 says, I think Dead Space is fairly scary. It makes you jump more, and if the lights go out, I panic a bit and normally fire wildly. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be the cynic on this. I just don't think... I think you're all lying to yourselves that you're actually scared. You want to be scared, but you're not really. I'm sorry, guys.
But fair enough.
Good feedback on the forum this month. I think that's
Solid.
perhaps
Yeah,
the
lots of
biggest
good discussion.
response we've ever had. Now, Nick, you have a question to throw out to the forum.
I do,
this month
yes.
as well. Which, and we do love your input, and feel free if I say anything you don't like, come back and hit me with it, baby. I can take it.
We were just coming up with some discussion points, and the idea was Desert Island games.
Yeah. And we think we're going to let you pick 3 of your must-have Desert Island games.
Yeah. You're starting on a desert island, you've got an internet connection, so you can still play live.
Oh, you do?
Okay, so
I was wondering about that.
So can you not just send an email saying...
please send help.
Yeah, come and
No,
rescue
because
me.
it's a broken internet connection that
okay.
only works with games.
Right.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
one of
it
my
was free.
games is World of Warcraft, which has chats.
Yeah, that
All right,
bit's
okay.
broken
It's filtered
as
or
well.
something. Okay,
So
fine.
I've got players on the PC. Can I not have any console? Or am I using emulators?
Yeah, any console. Yeah.
He's not really thought this out, has he? I hate to deconstruct it.
No, it's good because
any
Radio 4
console
Desert
going
Island
all the way
discs
back.
and
Yeah.
Yeah, just any game you fancy.
I don't know. Do you have 3
Should
off
we
the top of your head?
I always have 3 that I carry
Go,
around with me.
yeah.
Well, okay. First one, and I keep banging on about it, would have to be Elite, the BBC disc
choice.
version. Just because it's massive, it's fantastic. It even now, 25, 26 years later on, I can still go back on a wet Sunday afternoon and have a good 2 or 3 hour session. Always a joy to boot it up and you get the title screen with that Cobra Mark III just floating around. So I would, I think I would have that. I would have something like Pac-Man, just because it's mindless. And I've been playing that a lot on my iPhone, actually. It's just mindless, and it's just beautiful, and it's crafted really well, and the sounds are fantastic, and it's that thing that the old arcade games had that you don't get so much, I don't think, with games these days, is that I'll just have one more go. Let me just have one more go, which I'll have that. And it'd have to be Halo Wars. Just because I'm obsessed with it at the moment. I'm like a junkie looking for my next fix of that. It's just so Moorish, So it would those would be my 3. That's
No space for Left 4 Dead.
No, I would say no. Nick, have you got 3 that you would?
I have, yeah. I give it a bit of thought, but I really wanted to have like an old school game in there, like say Pac-Man. But then I thought about it, and I thought, I can't really see myself sitting down for more than half an hour playing an old school game these days, because although they're great and they were amazing at the time, everything's moved on so much that I just want to be playing something now. So all mine are really modern. I would take Call of Duty 4 for the online play, and I would take FIFA, whichever FIFA it was out when I got shipwrecked. So at the moment it'd be
Nice
FIFA
and vague,
09.
Yeah.
Well, the latest one, basically, whatever the latest one was, because I love football games, and you can play them forever and ever. And
You're wearing a football shirt. Is that
never get bored
football?
of them. I'm going to the football tonight, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why, yes.
Now, the weird thing with FIFA, I hate football. I hate it. Don't get it. Boring. But I love FIFA. That's kind of a bit of a strange one.
It's kind of a bit of a crossover football game, I think, because it's easy to get into.
Yep.
Whereas Pro Evo, the other main competitor, is really for the purists that sit there for ages really getting into it.
Is the FIFA Pro Evo war that still rages, although I think Pro Evo have lost, haven't they? They lost that war in the last FIFA, I think. Even a lot of Pro Evo heads went...
I think it's just levelled up now.
Yeah, okay.
Pro Evo always used to be streets ahead, and now it's level.
Okay, what's your third Desert Island game?
Third one would be Rock Band 2. I'd say that.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if I could get downloaded songs keep coming, and then you could just keep playing it forever.
He loves the sound of this Desert Island, doesn't he? This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to go for that.
Yeah.
Jane.
Okay, well, like I said, World of Warcraft. But it's for similar reasons. I know you don't play it, but it's for similar reasons as Elite.
Yeah.
And it's this big open world, and you could play it endlessly. I'm not even level 80 yet, so, I could sink a few hours into that before I got bored
World of Warcraft
on the
scares
desert
me,
island.
because I do think that I keep saying maybe I should. I worry that if I open that box and I'm never coming out again. I have had moments of games like that where it's, suddenly a month has gone. So hang on, I haven't left. My lap is burning from having this laptop on it.
And then you hear about these gamers in the Far East that drop dead because they haven't eaten.
Yeah,
for
it does.
for
I could
weeks.
become one of them if I got sucked into it. So, okay.
Okay. I originally was going to say something like Tetris or Puzzle Bobble or, that kind of a puzzle game that you play. The better you are, the longer you can play for. Because my idea is if you're trapped on a desert island, you could become the greatest player of that game in the world. And then when you get off the island, you've got to career in professional
Show
gaming
skills.
waiting for you or something. But I might change it to Peggle, actually, because I can imagine being, like, supremely good at Peggle.
Yeah.
Because it's really random. I mean, you'll have to try it when you go home.
I'm
Iain.
checking this out later on today.
There's an element of it, it makes you feel like you're really good at it, even when you're just randomly shooting balls at these pegs, because it bounces around and makes sounds, and you think you're really good, and in fact you're just shooting them in random directions.
When
and I
you
figure
get
if you
that
got
final
good
shot and you manage to hit 4 pegs with your final ball, they're all on opposite ends
I'm
of the
a
screen.
genius. And you're not
fantastic.
really. So, and lastly, it would be an RPG of some kind, like, not an MMO, but or maybe like Oblivion, a Morrowind. Elder Scrolls.
I hope I don't get stuck on an island with you. Heck.
Why not?
Oh, Elder Scrolls. Oh,
you see, I never got that much into it because I didn't have any time to spare at the time, and I wonder if I did, I could just,
I wish I was young and didn't have jobs and responsibilities. I miss that. I am getting frustrated this month that I've been really busy, and by the time I've got home, it's kind of too late, and I'm too tired to sit down and have a proper session, and I kind of miss, when I wasn't working. I could just play games all day and not worry about it. I do miss that.
The upside to the credit crunch.
Yes, exactly. When we all lose our
corner.
jobs, we're sorted. Okay, so listen, I guess we want you, dear listener, to give us your 3 Desert Island games and post them on the forum. The forum is where, Jane? Please tell us.
Please go to tech.uk.msn.com, click on message board, or come over to the podcast and we'll send you in the right direction.
Yes, please. I guess we're running out of time, but we didn't get a chance to mention that in a survey, 32% of men would rather play games than have sex with their partner. But that number rose to 72% or something if it was a new game. If a new game was dangled in front of them.
Yeah. But this was a highly legitimate study commissioned by ps3pricecompare.co.uk,
Brilliant.
who have no vested interest in how much people want to play games.
Or have sex.
Well, no, they have no interest in that.
Okay. But
They specify which new game it was.
No, it's just if a new game is waved in front of a gentleman whilst he's watching his girlfriend strip. It's like, games. And as I get older, without giving away too much of my life and my background, I know which side I'm on, A cup of tea, get the controller in my hands, and I'm playing, it's just easier, less disappointing, less stress. That's me. I won't ask you, Nick. I won't put you on the spot. It will be unfair. But yes.
Jaffa cake.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
Well, I guess we should probably leave it there. We've given them lots of homework this week, which is nice. Make sure you do it, please. Thank you.
Give us your Desert Island games on tech.uk.msn.com. How to think about that. And we'll catch you next time on the MSN Tech and Gadgets game podcast.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Gamecast from MSN.
Produced by theboyinthecorner.co.uk.